Welcome to Sports Talk with Kifue, and I'm your host, Kifue Njabulo Wagamahlango, and this is Sports Talk with Kifue, the interview segment. You guys know that I bring some of the best in the country, and we get to have conversations with them, and I get to talk to them, and we get to give you guys some insights as to who they are, and obviously most or some of you guys already know that what they do already. But yeah, right now I'll be talking to when I watched him at the Olympics, he looked so calm, he looked so composed. He was the captain of the under-23s. Now he's 24. Now he'll be leaving. But captain material looks so calm and composed at center back, but also plays defensive midfielder as well. He just radiates calmness and coolness, and you could feel it throughout that entire back line. It's a pleasure to meet you, Tercious. How are you?
I'm okay, man. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So how did you start your career, and where did you grow up? Let's start with where did you grow up?
I grew up in Limpopo, Rangwana,
Mm,
and my aunt was staying in Atok, so I was studying in Rangwana,
mm,
primary called Mapot Primary School. Then I left to stay with my aunt at Atok, where I was studying in Nomvethe Primary School. Then when I'm doing grade grade 6, I went to Shiro, whereby I was in the Academy of Silo Chokwe, that was based in Zone 4. I started there, we played a tournament called Milo Danon, of which we won Milo championship, and we won also Danon, whereby we were taken out by Orlando Pirates development. Then from there, I came to Johannesburg, to Academy, TS Academy, that was owned by Ivan Malashela. That was the coach who brought me into the game. I stayed with him for almost a year. Then I went to Jomo Cosmos, of course, development. I was playing that side at Jomo. Then that's where Augusto Palacios took me from. Then I became an Orlando Pirates player then.
So how was it like living with a coach where you guys didn't have you didn't know, or did you know him for a very long time, or was it that you knew him just because he was a coach? And how was it living with him at the time, because obviously you had to make a few adjustments because you've left home? How was making those adjustments? How's it
I
like?
think it's about passion, regardless of where you are taken to go play, it doesn't matter. I didn't have any challenges, but what I knew is that I want to be a pro footballer, and it comes with its own sacrifices for one to achieve such. It's not easy, of course, to stay away from family, and of course you have to adjust, and as a person you have to know what you want, and some of the things you have to sacrifice for them, like spending time with family, growing up with family. I left my family when I was still 10 years old, so that's when I started staying alone. So until even now, as you know, the procedures of the game, there's presidents, only you get to spend almost a week, 2 weeks, and that's the maximum time you can have with the family.
So you knew at 10 years old that you wanted to be a pro footballer. So who inspired you to be like, I want to play like that person? Or who inspired you growing up? Who did you want to play like?
To be honest with you, Xabi Alonso, the legend, the one was playing for Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, was a
Liverpool.
very good player because he could do anything that one he could do anything that one can look for. To a player, a passing range, hardworking, tackling. So I believe he had everything. Everything. He had everything. He was a special player.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And it's strange, man. Xabi, Liverpool, I don't support Liverpool, but he was a phenomenal player. That's why he went on to Real Madrid and then went on
Yeah,
highlights
of course.
played in Bayern. So so now with all these sacrifices, have you ever understood that okay, like these are the sacrifices that I have to make? And how did it affect your family? How did it affect other people? Because your sacrifices sometimes don't only affect you. A lot of the times we think about sacrifices as they only affect us, but how did it affect the people around you?
Yeah, of course, it's not easy. It was not easy for them, but I think I was lucky because my mom loves football. Even now as we speak, she has her own team that she's coaching. She's,
Mm,
she has been so supportive from young age, buying me boots. She couldn't afford to see me borrowing boots. She's
mm,
been doing that for so many years. I was using the tempo boot. Yeah, I was changing it like I was sponsored, and you could imagine it rural areas, playing the gravel, the boost doesn't even last for long. So, but
mm,
I'm glad she was so supportive. With the little that she has, she was making sure that I get the boots.
mm. Yeah.
So at the end, I think she believed in me in terms of not being around. She didn't mind a lot about that because she knew what I want, and all she can do as a parent is to support me throughout.
Mm. And a lot of people, if you're not from like South Africa or anything, like this really does happen a lot of times. Like I used to play on the local ground, but we have grass, and then where I used to train was we had like gravel, and people would borrow, like get some people without boots, and you borrow them boots. Like this is actual, like this is a reality. Some people would think, hey, these guys are just making their stories up, but these are things that actually happen, and it's all about passion and someone just trying to elevate yourself to a new level. It's all about playing the game you love.
Yeah, yeah, of course, we borrow where we can, just to make sure that we're happy, we do what we love most because, football, I think, is passion. From an early age, you will see if one wants to be a soccer player or what.
Mm. So
Yeah.
you moving to Pirates, right? How was training under Augusto Palacios? How was it like?
You know, as a very aggressive coach, of course, as a player, you
Mm,
need to be able to handle the pressure that comes with, you know, being a footballer because coaches wants to play in a certain way, and you find that
mm,
for you the only thing that you can do is to adjust and make sure that you try by all means to do what they require. You know,
mm,
that's how players you get to be fielded. But if you have a small heart, I don't think you have a chance because in football, coaches, they'll hammer you. Sometimes you sleep, head, cry. But that's how we grow as footballers. But now, as you can see, been in the game around now a couple of years, so it's about that. It's about putting in the work, being able to understand the philosophies of the coaches, and of course, learning every day so that you can grow and be better as a player.
So I've always wanted to know this. How is it because I how is it going to Pirates development? Like when you guys talk, obviously, how is Pirates development compared to when you went on loan to Ajax? Most likely you spoke to people. What's the difference? Like uh what do they teach you at Pirates that let's say they didn't teach at someone that went to Ajax Football Academy?
No, at IS is different because I was already, already in a pro. And at that time, I knew what I wanted and I knew what I'm capable of. It was just a matter of, getting to know teammates, me playing with senior players help as well, the likes of the Hamabalani,
Mm,
Oprimtile, you know, all of those, just Atlala. So I think sharing Nomvethe, of course, sharing changing room with such players, they,
mm,
they share their experience with you and as an individual, it's about how you take it. If you are willing to learn, you are lucky because you'll be knowing very well what it takes to be a pro player. The sacrifices, the things that they went through, the mistakes they made in the game. You know,
Mm,
and about life in general. So we always try by all means to share where we can, and of course, in that you must also will to learn so that
mm,
you know what to expect in this game, the challenges you can face as a player.
mm.
Yeah.
So did they
So
tell you?
that's how you
No,
saying.
please continue.
Yeah, that's how especially I think just Shimane Plaza is the one who
Mm,
was very close with it, Moroka Silos, and we used to travel together. He to transport me to training from the airport. But you can tell that he's a senior player. The things that he achieved. Of
mm,
course, guidance as well of the game. In life in general.
mm.
So I think it played a very huge role as well.
So how what did Justa tell you? Did you was he like, hey dude, avoid all these because I was speaking with Dylan last week. I was speaking with Coach Dylan last week, yeah, was last week, and he was like, most South African football players like, I'm gonna give myself that golf GTI. Once girls start coming, once you play for a big team. That's why I was asking you, what do they teach you when you guys go to development? Like, do they teach you about the pressures that also come with being a professional footballer, also preparing you for all the other different aspects, money, and what also comes with playing for professional football and dealing with people?
Yeah, yeah, especially at Pirates, that's what they do. We have sessions, whereby they come, they talk about how to save our money. All of those things. They almost we have sessions to do that. Investments and everything. So they're trying by almost to ensure that they educate us with that because they don't want us to misuse money and such. And of course, being a brand is
Mm,
comes with its own pressure
mm,
of the field, how to you conduct yourself around, So it's about the day they are teaching us to be honest with them. That's what they do. They do make time for us. They do, you know, make sure that we get those lessons and hoping that one can learn, and become a better person.
mm. So how do you deal with the pressures of you being a football player now? And have you applied anything that you've been taught by everyone, let's say in Nomvethe, just that, and what are those things that, if you can share, that you have applied in your life that they taught you? Because they usually say that a wise man learns from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, of course. With that one, I remember. I don't know if you still remember the scandal of Jostadlad, like
Yeah,
at Chiefs.
yeah, I
Yeah,
still.
he sat down with me. Was saying, that, in life sometimes these things, such things happen.
Mm,
People they criticize you of some things that you didn't do, but because of your name is out there, then most they will take it somehow. But the method that the truth is not being told, and sometimes it's not necessary to go
mm,
out there and try to prove yourself. As long as you know that you're in the right path, you just let it go. Just like how people see football differently. You can imagine when you go to social media, then they are talking bad about you, how bad you are in the field of play.
mm,
But I think, knowing very well that you are a footballer, people see football in different way. People, they have their own personnel.
mm,
And there's nothing wrong with that. Their opinion is for them. What matters is that how you take it as a player. How do you take it? That I think that's very important because if you put your mind into that, it's gonna affect your game. But
mm,
it's about how you can take it. I think that's the best thing to do. Be able to handle such
mm,
because football itself, it has its own pressure. Entering the field already there's a pressure that comes with it. That's why they call it beautiful game. So it's a matter for how one can handle it and how much. Because at some point you walk in by the most, they say, this one is not a good player. Some they say, this one is the good players. So you see the pressure, they are both good and bad, because if you're being called a very top player and can affect you at some point. You say, oh, I'm good. So you start to lose focus.
Mm.
You see? So I think for me, it's a matter of being concentrated at all times with bad and good news that you always hear every day, because there are people that you obviously they'll be inboxing you, hey, how are you? You're a good player, this and that. And there are some that will post a picture, they comment bad. I personally don't take such in there, I take what I want to take, because that's how life it is. It's my choice. However, how you see me, I'm a bad person or I'm a bad player or I'm a good player, the way you see me, but I know what I want. Regardless of what you say, it's your opinion, and I appreciate it. It's either good or bad, I do appreciate it, because that's how you see me, and that's me. You will never change me, and you'll never change how I play. You know? The important thing is to believe in yourself and try by all means, like I said, learn every day. When they say that, sometimes you look back, oh, but yes, I did mistakes there and there. What can I do? Do I go back? I cry like a baby, or I take it as a man? Then I go out there and try to rectify it. So those two, if you put them together, then you're gonna be unstoppable, of course, because you know, and the level of acceptance, of course. If you can accept that, hey, there I messed up, and of course, in the game, for one team to win, others they have to do mistakes, and it's football. So the level of acceptance, I think, is very important to notice when you are doing wrong, and when you are not performing, what can you do to up your game? Because consistency is the most difficult thing to do. Consistency. If you can be able to say, put your mind in a space whereby even when you are not at your best, but you are willing to give, you are willing to give the effort you are giving every day training sessions, the outcomes will show in the game to say, hey, he has been working so hard, even though it's not his day, but he's putting in the work. Then you see, you will grow there. Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. I think we lose that in a lot of the things that we see, especially in football, because everything that we want is instantaneous. But you know what they say, form is temporary, class is permanent.
Of course.
So you were you at the Ben still there when you were there? Ben Motware. Ben Motware.
Yeah, they found me there, but yeah, they found me there. That's the time where I was going out for loan.
So when you came back to preseason, how was it? Let's say playing next to someone like that, or learning from seeing him how he plays. Because for me personally, I think at Orlando Pirates, he is the number one, or he is the best defensive midfielder, because he can break down play and he can still play passes, although not those expensive passes, but he can still dictate the game as a sitting midfielder.
Yeah, he's a good player, to be honest with you, and of course, he have a very good work rate. So for me, I do see him as a very good player. The mere fact that he's willing to put in the work, even when the team is not taking strike by wins, regaining those positions. So for me, he's a very good player, and for a team like Paris to sometimes lose a player like him, it's not easy. It's not easy. That's why sometimes when he's not playing, you can tell that they are not, they are not taking like we used to. They used to. So sometimes, it shows his class, individual class that he is bringing to the team.
So what made you, like, for me, I also playing a defensive role. It's usually one of the most underrated, and you don't get a lot of love for playing for being a defensive midfielder a lot of the times, because not a lot of defensive midfielders actually go and win footballer of the year. No, I don't think in recent times I've never seen defensive midfielders are so vital in world football, but they don't get love. Same as defenders, like you guys get no love. How? How? It's only, let's say, the people that really, really love the game or that really tune in and that watch you guys, that actually get that you guys are actually very important. And you actually play a defensive midfielder and center back. So you really you really don't like the praise, or you don't like people's attention, and you strike me off as a person that's a bit reserved when you get to meet someone that's new to you.
Yeah, I think that one I was taught when I was still young. My mom used to tell me, love people no matter what, and be respectful to people no matter what you do.
Mm,
Because sometimes I personally feel like this thing of people saying, footballers are celebrities, this and that. It's a pity that the job that we are doing,
mm,
we have to be watched on television. That's how people recognize you.
mm,
But if I had it my way, I would love it if it was not televised, because I think we're just like normal people who wakes up in the morning, goes to bank, go to his job, comes back.
mm,
That's our life. There's no difference there. This thing of celebrities and people have to have pride over things. No, just being popular. It's not like we're having all the money in this world or something. So
mm.
why do we have to be treated so special? Or one can feel so special about himself to say, oh, yeah, you are a pro footballer. In the same time, you're working. So there's not, for me, there's no different thing. Whatever that they wake up in the morning going to try get something for their families, that's what we're doing as well.
Mm.
It's unfortunate that we had that, we were watched on television, but for me, it doesn't even come into my mind to say, oh, I'm a celebrity or something. No, no, that's not me. That's why even when I met you in boxes and everything, I always respect being humble. Then yeah, that's how I am. So for me, it doesn't really matter what I'm doing, but the love for people do never change, and how I respect people, that's me.
To be honest, I think that you are one of the few people that aren't going to go into broadcasting. You strike me as, once you're done with football, you're gonna find something else. Do you have any other passions besides football? Because you really strike me as a person like, I'm out.
No, I've considered that, but not really, man. Football. I think I'll be around football. I think so, but I'm not sure. To be honest with you,
Do
I'm
you
not
know
sure.
what?
I love my own space. Maybe I'll be in the farms somewhere.
Do you know what? Actually, defensive midfielders usually make for great coaches. Poch, Pep. Hey, I'm just saying, really make for great coaches.
Listen.
So keep that in mind. If you still want to be around football, maybe you can get your coaching badges very early, like Kevin De Bruyne has gotten.
Yeah.
Just in case, if you really want to go that route, you can always go that route, because as a defensive midfielder, you actually have to read the entire game. Like, I have to know that, okay, you're gonna pass here. Oh, well, that's happening now. I've got to move here because that this space is unmarked, and if something ever happens, so I'll be close. So you really have to actually really understand the entire game. So
Yeah.
so I'm just saying, if you can get your coaching badges early, and then it'll open up your options if you ever want to go into football, and then you can just go. Don't and not wait for, hey, once you retire, like, ish, now what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
No, I'll consider that. I'll consider that once I've made my mind.
mm, but yeah, and oh man, how was it like actually finally leaving Orlando Pirates? Because most likely for me now, having seen you play, and you were also playing in the multi-choice Disky Challenge, and my brother was like, yo, this guy is so good. also a big Orlando Pirates fan as well. So it's like, this guy's so good. I don't get why they let you go. Left-footed, you can play holding and you can play at the back. I mean, we don't have a lot of center backs at the moment as it is. Holding midfielders, Ben is 30, Monari is 31, struggling there, and then they let you go. For me, but for me personally, just doesn't make a lot of sense. And you have leadership qualities which we would have needed going forward, which was most teams have foresight and planning. But anyway, I won't. But how is it like moving forward, or you being told, you know what, this year, this is the end of your contract. We can't. There's nothing we can do.
No, to be honest, when I left for Ukraine, I asked to
Mm,
be released. I had 1 year remaining, but the opportunity arose because I wanted to, have a feel of European football,
mm,
of which I did, and I really appreciate and I always appreciate what Orlando Pirates family did for me, and
mm,
of course the chairman, for him, allowing me to go and face some new challenges and grow as a player. But rather than
mm,
that, I know I haven't. Represented the club in an official match, of which I
mm,
just had two camps, when Mission was there. But overall, it's football. Only 11 players have to be favored. Like I told you, it's about how you take it.
mm,
So for me, I never looked down. Of course, I grew. I grew.
mm,
They taught me a lot of things. I shared the changing room with great players. There's one thing that people they don't understand. You know, a player who's training with the team, I think, is the most important player, especially if you are not mostly played.
mm,
What do you do? That's what is important. What do you do if you're not, you're not selected? How do you take it? What can you improve?
mm,
So if one sit down and I try to see what wrong that are they doing, why they are not playing,
mm,
and for me that's the only thing that one can worry about because if you're in a situation that you can't control,
mm,
then why do you beat yourself about it because it's out of your control? So for me, yes, they didn't play me, but I never cried and I don't regret being an Orlando Pirates player because
mm,
I learned a lot during the hard work in football is put through training sessions, and of which I was given that opportunity. You know,
mm,
so to improve one because there's one thing that I think a lot of people they don't understand. As footballers, for one to become one of the best, he has to train with people that they will show him one or two. He will learn from them as well and get better. That's why you can see even Messi after he left Barcelona, a couple of players left Barcelona. He struggles scoring so many goals like he did before when those players they were around.
mm,
So for me, I think for me, what worries me is when my performance drops. That's what I'm in control of, and that's what have to worry me. You see, to say the coach is not playing me, then meaning that I'm not ready for his philosophy, or he sees something because I don't think there's this thing of say, the coach doesn't like me. I don't personally believe in that. You know, do you think, for example, Messi, if the coach, even if the coach doesn't like Messi, will he put him outside? No, he won't because the player, this is business. We need to get results, play whoever the coaches plays, whoever they feel like they're gonna deliver on the day.
mm,
So for me, that I didn't play, I didn't even have to worry about it. It was out of my control. I did my best. That's why even the consistency to show that I was focused and everything. I was doing well in the junior international, under
mm,
20 World Cup, under 23 World Cup. And I remember by then I was still with Paris. So the made that I was able to deliver, regardless of if I'm playing or not. It shows that my mind was somewhere else. I was focused in terms of my training sessions, making sure that I'm well, I'm fit, and I'm ready to help my country. And of which I
mm,
did, and I thank myself even today because it will stay like that. Imagine when we qualified for World Cup under 20, it was 9 years after. So we brought that after that, the another generation qualified, managed as a leader. Imagine I was not playing, but I was wearing umpire for national team, of which it was pushing me, motivating me. Even though you know that the games for national team they don't play week in out, But what do I do to keep focused to make sure that you put in the work during the training sessions, you get better, you learn every day, then all will follow. That's why I achieved, under 20 World Cup, Olympics, 2 times, and all of those. I was making, believe me, my brother, no chance for me to achieve such.
And to me, it feels like you guys are kind of our small little golden yana generation here, because you guys have been able to qualify twice for the Olympics. The last time you did that was like in what, 2000? Twice. And people don't realize that the amount of potential and talent that you guys have. I mean, going to the Olympics, how does it feel to go to the Olympics? Okay, this time for the second time. How did it feel this time? And what did you guys go into the first game thinking? Were you guys saying, okay, we're gonna win this game, or we're gonna keep it tight and then we're gonna see how things go? Or what was the thought process, or what were you guys told going into the first match?
Yeah, to be honest with you, these ones, they were the easiest, but very difficult in terms of protocols of coronavirus, because before the game against Japan, we had to be isolated. You can imagine no trainings, you're always in your room, for almost 7 days, testing every day. It wasn't easy. We only had 2 training sessions prior Japan game. Fitness level, so that's why I think the coaches did their best in terms of their philosophy towards Japan. If you notice, to playing thread the back, ensuring that at least we hoping to get at least a point out of that game, because it was very important. Of which, for me, I thought it was going to be bad, but I think everyone put in the effort. Even though we lost the game, the last 15 minutes of it shows a level of concentration. If you are not that fit, the level of concentration you always struggle towards the end of the game. And I think fitness was the biggest challenge in our Olympics. But nevertheless, it was a good tournament, great experience. I'm happy. The boys they've seen, it's possible to play in Europe. It's possible to play in Europe, and so it was easier for everyone to start believing themselves, to say, oh, just look at France game. We did everything good, but that little thing, man, if you don't have that thing, sometimes they say you create your luck, but I think that day it wasn't just our day, but it is what it is. It's football. We take it, we go. Yeah.
I was watching that match, right? You guys completely out. You see, the first match I was a bit disappointed because you guys could have actually, because it was 0-0 at about 70 min, what, 63, because they hadn't scored in the 60th minute. They hadn't scored. I was like, now the coach has to make a change. Now it's enough defending, but that's just me. That's just I was like, at this point now he has to make a change, because now he's Mabiliso was struggling so much on that one side, and you guys, Frasla and Mabiliso couldn't get forward, so it really restricted you guys, because you couldn't get width. When Kobamelo came on, you offered that width, but that's just the first match. I was like, okay. Second match, you guys floor, you dominate France. You guys play so well. And then I don't know what happened. You say, when they say it's not your day. When they say it's not your day, that's what just happened. Because you guys, even when I was even checking on Twitter, because even the French team, there's this French Get Football, French news, or whatever. They always post about French football. They were like, no, we're getting dominated by South Africa. And it wasn't even funny. You guys outplayed them. Tactically, everything was correct. And then things just didn't go our way. And you know what? Sometimes I am fine with you guys going out like that. I'm fine with you guys going out,
Yeah.
giving it your all, and scoring and playing open and expensive football. Evidence showed that his quality, and his quality, although he'll be going back to Baroka this season, but he showed that he's got such class, and ah, he's got everything that's needed to be a striker. Although used to play as a number 10, very strange decision. But
Yeah.
very strange that looking at his build and everything, it's very strange. When I was speaking with Coach Dylan Craig, was like, he used to play as a number 10, and I was like, no, go for it. And then from there, everything clicked. And now he's gonna become one of the best strikers that. But you guys actually, how was training camp and how have you guys bonded? Because you guys have been, a lot of you guys have been together for a very long time. I mean, you have gone to 2 Olympics. That means you went to one when you were 19, and then okay, you went to one when you were 20 and now 24. How, yeah, but it's 4 years. They're supposed to be 4 years apart. So because I know you went with this year
Yeah.
because you turned 24, right? This year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now you were still eligible because last year you were supposed to be played last year. So yeah, you went when you were 19,
Yes.
and
Yes.
your first one.
Yeah. 19, 20, 20, 20. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was
Yeah.
it like?
19.
How's it like going when you're 19 and people are like, hey, did it feel different when you're 19? Because now when you're 23, you have the captain's armband. Now that's different pressure. And now now you're 19, and now you're going there for the first time since what, the year 2000. How did it feel going that time?
Yeah. At that time, it was different, but we had a very, very, very good players. And
Mm,
for me, and I was the youngest in the squad, so it was easier for me to it was easier for me to to just to get there and do the best because that's what is required of me as a player.
so okay, let's move this a bit forward, and then so okay, you asked Orlando Pirates to, no what, I want to try this European opportunity. And when I did research on the team, I was like, I don't know this team. So I looked it up, and they were started about 20 in 2015, and you guys came in last place. Why weren't you guys relegated? Or how was it playing like in Ukraine, different to playing like in South Africa at first? And then secondly, what happened there at the end? What was going on? Why wasn't the team relegated? What happened?
I think when in football, man, there's always issues inside the game, of course, but the level was totally different.
Mm,
The level was totally different. You can tell because you're playing the likes of Shakhtar, the likes
mm.
of Dynamo Kiev.
Then Kiev, yeah.
So this Dynamo Kiev, so they play UEFA Champions. I remember when we played Shakhtar, they just hammered Madrid 2-0. And we were playing the same stadium.
Mm,
You can tell, brother, this level is another level. But the good thing about it is that it's doable.
mm,
That's the little taste that I got to say. You gotta believe in yourself. There's no much difference. If you look into South African football, the league, the players that we have in the league,
mm,
everyone for me is much capable on playing that stage, but it's just a matter of getting that slight opportunity and grab it.
mm,
But for me, I don't have a doubt each and every South African player can be able to play in Europe. I think they have qualities, they've shown them, throughout the seasons to say, hey, we are good players, but it's just a matter of saying, yeah, just a matter of getting that time, that opportunity, and because everyone can be able to play that side. But the level is totally different. The details, they pay attention on details. They play more of one touch, two touch. There's no show putting. There are those little details, but I think every player is capable of doing that, of which is not a difficult thing to do, but it is difficult, of course.
mm.
But yeah.
Have you ever thought about making a positional change to center back full time? Have you ever thought about that?
That's the thing. I think even when I arrived here in Amazulu, that's what Coach Benni asked me to say, what do you want to play? It is always a challenging question to me because I'm comfortable in the middle, center back, left back. like I believe it's just a matter of saying how can you take information from the coach? How does he want you to play? Then apply it. Then you're able to settle in the particular position. That's me. I'm comfortable playing midfield, center back, left back. As long as the philosophy of the coach is clear, the message, the details, then just go out there, be comfortable because yeah, I think that's the difficult question to ask to say what is your favorite position. I think I would say midfield because that's where there's a lot of challenges in the midfield, a lot of growth to earn, and of course just to try something different.
I saw you played.
Because I remember,
Mm.
I remember.
No, please continue.
I remember Chip. I once even played as a winger, left wing, trying to. But yeah, I saw the winger, no. But because of the confidence, of course, we have to try by all means, and
Mm.
yeah.
I was just saying, I saw you play at at left center back, and I was like, why? Like you playing at left center back, you just made everyone. Your leadership qualities just make everyone cool, calm, and collected. And I used to play defense, and that's one of the most important things is that you and Fleurs trusted each other so much. You knew that he had the speed to cover everyone, like counterattacks, especially against France. You knew he had the speed. I just needed to know where I am because center backs you have to work as partners. If I'm gonna stick, you have to watch. You have to sweep whatever's coming in behind us. And seeing you at center back, company made that change, and he became one of the best center backs in the world. I'm just saying. Yeah, he moved from defensive midfield and he went to center back and he became one of the best in the world. I mean, if you can, as a center back, you can be a world beater and the earning potential is still also there. I mean, if you're whatever position you play at, if you're playing in Europe or wherever, the earning potential is still there. So it's not a matter of,
Yeah,
I get it. The position matters, but if you play in a position that suits you and your build and your mentality, the sky is the limit.
this man is trying to convince me. But no, you're right, brother. You're right. You're right, man. And I really appreciate your words, bro. I think, yeah, I'll consider that.
Mm.
Yeah, I'll do consider that.
Yeah, I know that was just my 2 cents, and I was gonna ask you, how was it? How did the move to Amazulu come about, and how is it like playing with Benni since for Coach Benni since you've brought it up? Because hey, the man has a UEFA Champions League medal, the only person in South Africa to have that medal.
No, it's very good to have a coach like him. He's very professional. He once played football. That's what is very important because he knows when the player can be able to and when he can't because he has been in that situation before. So I think having him is amazing to be honest with you. He understands very well what players like the most. How to get best out of players. It's easier for him because he played the game. And having an assistant coach or like Nomvethe, of course. So those two, they've played the game before, so they understand players. They engaging players management, how they manage players, how they talk to players. I think that's important, and that's what any coach wishes for. To be able to understand your players, to make sure that they feel happy around you. They are able to engage you. Because we have coaches, but the game itself, we see situations that they might not see on the line. Then you need someone who's open, who you can easily engage and try to get a solution because all of us we are working towards the common goal, which is winning matches, keeping consistency of the team, keep the ball rolling and getting a good results in each and every match that we play. So I think having him is the best thing that one could wish for. And, he played the highest level, he knows, he coached by top coaches, of course, and I think that's what is very important, and that's why I think now, as you can see, a lot of legends turn into coaches because of they've been, they've been coached by top coaches, and it's easier for one to say, okay, I remember I was coached by, like now I have more than 10 coaches in my career, different, but I can still remember some of the coaches, like, tactics, training sessions, sometimes when even other coaches does it, is, I once did this, but, when it's happening more often, it's easier to be in your veins, and for you, if you become a coach, then why not? Players, what did you like the most while you were still a player? What you didn't like while you were still a player? So I think just that, that's what is very important.
So
that's what is very, that's what is very important. I think that's the only thing that matters.
Okay. So the most okay, when I was looking up at transfer news, I was surprised that you went to Amazulu. There were rumors that you had agreed a deal in principle to kind of go to Chiefs. Is that true or not?
No, there was, news, but when the deal is not finalized, it doesn't matter. But yeah, there was, engagements about that. But it is what it is, Like I told you, if until something is finalized, for me, it doesn't really matter.
When something is concrete, you can't say, hey, I'm gonna do this, and then it doesn't come, and then, but they say you land where you're supposed to land. And you know what, man, going to Coach Benni, that's not a bad choice. That's really, and Amazulu on the up and up. You guys, most likely now, when you look at the competition, you're like, oh, this is almost like a Pirates team, because you have a lot of very good players in and around you, and you guys are going to play African football. So it's really, if you had went to Chiefs, no African football, you went to Amazulu, African football.
Yeah, it is like that, man. And I think that's one of the things that motivated me to come to Amazulu. To have a bunch of good players like them. Makaulas. I've been playing against them. They are very good players. So I think I took a right decision. Having to play with top players. Hopefully, we grab something this season. But I know it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, for one to achieve such. But I think we're working towards a very, 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 very good thing.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that you actually, okay, you're back, but you're back. I'm not happy that you are back, to be honest. I don't really like you guys playing here. I usually prefer you guys just going out there, but it didn't work out. So now it's like, okay, now reset button, as you said, like, okay, it didn't work out, it's fine. We won't dwell on the past. We're gonna move forward, have we're gonna see what we can change. And you have a very great young coach in Coach Benni and in Nomvethe that are also gonna understand you, and you guys are gonna work through whatever, and then you can become a better player. And another move, I mean, you're only 24, another move can come about from just one season, because from what I see from you is that consistency for you is your most important thing. And for me, that's what I appreciate a lot about players, because you get a lot of players that especially in South Africa, you can get 9 out of 10 performances, or a lot of them in one season, and then the next season they disappear. So it's very important for me when you emphasize consistency, that if I'm going to reach this level, I'm going to try and keep it at this level for the next season, because what separates great from good is consistency.
Yeah, I think that's what is important. And like I said, I personally worry a lot when I start feeling like, oh, I'm not doing well, or starting to have a lot of mistakes in my game. That's why I get worried. But other than that, the other ones I can't control. My job is to play football, to give a good performance in each and every game, in each and every training session. So I think that's only my worry. And that's what I can control personally. But rather than that, those that I can't control, I just let them be, because yeah, either way, if you're gonna be played, they will play you. If you're not gonna play, work harder so that they can consider you. Simple.
Eh, man, if this was cricket, I'd give you the armband right now. Yeah, man.
Why cricket?
No, in cricket they usually you have a captain, and then the captain, no matter a lot of times whether he's playing or not in his team or whatever, the captain is always there and is involved in selection, and yeah, the captain is always there. And even in rugby, whatever sport, if even now in football, I'd give you the captain, the armband for the next I don't know how many years, because your leadership qualities, for me, from what I've seen, you have great leadership qualities and you're very calm. And leadership sometimes needs that. You don't need a lot of hot heads, although hey, against France, I mean against Mexico, in that you had, although Ramos is a great leader with the most red cards.
Yeah, man, sometimes, getting a cup, yes, of course, it puts the team on the back foot, but you can imagine there's no player who can just easily want to get cuts. You get cuts because you are committed in what you're doing and you're trying to help the team where you can, but it's the rules of the game
Hmm.
that if you do break them, then you get punished. And I do acknowledge that sometimes it does put the team at the back foot, but it is what it is. It's the game. If you're aggressive, you're aggressive. That's what happens to aggressive players. You get calls, you get cautioned. But yeah, it is what it is. Just if you can imagine, remember the offense that Suarez did in 2010. It
Eish.
saved the team, but it is what it is. He was a hero for that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
if it wasn't for Suarez, Ghana would have made it to the semifinals. If it wasn't for that handball,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it is what it is, man. It's the game.
No, I actually understood at that moment, and also there was some frustration involved, because you guys were trying to go for it. I mean, uh, you guys were behind. You're trying to go for it, and obviously, at that moment, certain challenges would come about. But yeah, it's really an understandable way. You guys went down fighting, and that's all someone could ask for. A lot of the times we ask. We don't see that in football often enough. I mean, in rugby, you get that a lot. In cricket, you used to get that a lot, where you're going down, but you're going down with the fight. Whereas with you're going down and you're like, we don't care. You guys really wanted to achieve something as a core. And to me, that's very important. You might lose now, but in future, you guys might go and win an actual AFCON, you guys, in with that group that you guys have. If they keep you guys, please see, the problem I have with Safa is too much mixing. You guys already, you can take some of that core that you guys had from the previous Olympics group. They're gonna take you guys, put you guys together, and then add a few quality players in there, and then let you guys play, because you guys already know each other. You guys gel, you guys work well with each other, you guys know what you guys want to achieve. You see, we do so well in these when people are younger, and then why doesn't that translate to when we're older? It's because now we're playing a lot of people that aren't used to playing at international level, and you guys are used to that. I mean, you've played at a World Cup before, although it's under 20. You've played at Olympics before. You guys are used to the pressure that comes with it, and that pressure is gonna come in handy going to AFCON. And you guys have played in AFCON. You guys have came in third. I think it was, yeah, you guys, if I'm not mistaken, you guys came in third. Yeah?
Yeah, AFCON, yes, AFCON.
So you guys are used to doing that. You guys might go and win us an AFCON. If they keep you guys together, guys, Safa, please keep these guys together.
I'll go back and say this again. Are you in control of that? No.
No,
So it is what it is.
I
Your
was just
opinion, I get it, I respect it. I don't understand that, but you saying that to me, it's like, yeah, it is what it is. We are talking, but yeah, we are both, we are not in control, but it's a good wish, we also as players, try to play and make sure that we grow. But that growth needs patience, because you can imagine how many players we have in the country, and again it goes back to the coach's decisions. How they see you as an individual. You have your own opinion like now as a football person to say if they should have, if you could have, But all those doesn't matter, because whoever is in charge at that time, and I always respect that the coaches always make the right decisions in terms of making the squad, because I think we have almost how many players in South Africa, and they only have to choose maybe even 23, if not 30, 25. So, but they go as far as trying to get the quality, the ones that are in form, because that's what is important. And regardless of the results, they do make the right decisions. And I, as a player, as an individual, I do understand that the coaches, they are trying their best to be able to make the country win, and by going for the best players at the moment, because that's what national team is about. Consistency in your club level, you have the higher chances of being in national team player. And once you enter in that field of your national team player, then what you call consistencies become your norm, because national team, there's only short time for preparations, games, philosophies. You need to get there mentally ready to adjust, because that's what makes an international player. You adjust quicker, you give your best at all times, you are able to play. You can imagine sometimes you report on Monday, on Saturday, there's a game. You understand? So during that 4 days is very important, and it's chop and cuts, because they bring you because of your qualities. But once you enter into your qualities brings you into the national team. But now your character, your mentality is the one that's going to make you play in national team. We've seen so many players at their club level, they are good, but when it comes to national team, they can't really cope. It's not because they are not good players, but they being in the national team setup is totally different. I think that's what I've noticed since I've been in the junior team, and I've noticed that it's different. It's totally different. But it is what it is. It needs time and patience. As from the player's perspective, I know that it needs time. I can't now say, oh, I played the Olympics, then I start demanding to be like, hey, to be at the Bafana. No. When the time is right, it will happen. I trust the process. All I have to do, I do what I'm in control of. Remember that. I work hard. I put in the work every day. Then the rest will follow. Even if it takes me another 4 years to become in the Bafana, why not? But the main fact is that during the process, what am I doing? Do I give up to say I'm not ready yet for Bafana? I've been ready for a long time ago. Even now, it hasn't that came the way I want it, but I can't stop working now because it hasn't happened. I do trust the process, what I'm capable of. I know what I'm capable of. I know my qualities. What I can do is to keep learning every day, putting in the work. Then it will come when the time is right. I believe in that. I strongly believe in that, to say, if you believe that you're a good player and you're willing to learn every day, meaning individually you are getting better, mentally you're getting stronger, then when that time arises, you catch it and make sure that obviously once you're in the setup, the mentality has to change. you go even beyond analyzing games alone, making sure that you're fit at all times. That's what makes a player top player, because sometimes you just go to training and come back. It's not enough for a day as a pro footballer. Sometimes sit down alone, analyze games, watch games, not as not as a fan, but as an individual, to say, if I was in that position, oh, they did that. Can I be able to implement that? Can it work for me? So I think that's what is important.
You guys just heard. This man is the definition of dedication, hard work, and patience. When Nipsey Hussle was writing that song, he was talking about people like you. Got that dedication, hard work, and patience. I think the patience part is the thing that most people struggle with. I mean, even I sometimes struggle. I struggle mostly with patience. I'm a very impatient person. So, and it's been a very nice conversation. So now, what do you think? Now that you're playing at Amazulu and you're back with Coach Benni, what do you think what do you hope that the future holds for you?
Now, of course, I just have to, individually, of course, but it's not about me, but put in the work, hoping to come and add the value in the team, because, as we all know, that they've been doing well from last season, and for them going to look for new signings, meaning that they know they have a trust in me, they believe, strongly believe that I can add value. And I personally believe that I will add value as well. I just have to work harder, to at least try to challenge every cup that comes our way. We are out for MTN 8. I was watching the game, we were analyzing it, but it's one of those whereby it's a pity that it comes immediately after preseason. The legs were still heavy, the guys who can see they tried, but there was a lot of positives that we took out of the game. But going forward into the season, the starts against Sundowns, so it's the working process, brother. So the real game starts, so you just have to start prepare our minds, physically, mentally, so that when we play in Sundance, the first game of the league, we are able to compete, so that we can try by all means and try get the maximum points in each and every game we play, because that's what is important. No matter you're playing home, big team, small team, those points are points. You have to fight for each and every point that comes your way to becoming a champion. It's not easy. It requires a lot of hard work, but I believe we are ready as a team to do so, and we are willing to sacrifice what we have to in order for us to make sure that we get points in each and every game that we play.
You know what? Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to interview. And it's been such a great honor having you on the show, giving people knowledge, and you keep on hammering on control what you can, and what you can't control, leave that to that. And secondly, trust the process. Like, put in that hard work, put in that dedication, and have patience. Sometimes things take time. And yeah, I think those are the lessons I'll personally take from this interview. I'll try and implement them in my own life. That hard work, dedication, have that down. Just need that patience. And secondly, control what I can, and what I can't, what's not in my control, I'll leave that to whatever. And all right, you and we've spoken about so much about football. It was actually a fun conversation, and thank you so much for your time. And where can people find you on? Let's say, do you have Twitter? I know on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you
Yes,
have
yes,
Twitter,
I am on Instagram. I think that's the one that is active. Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram's the only one.
Twitter, yeah, I think it's the one that is very, very active. Yeah, that's why I get a lot of updates from.
Or but okay, I'll find you. It's the same, almost the same handle, right?
Yes, yes.
Then I'll just write down like in the description for you guys, like Twitter where you can find him and Instagram where you guys can
Okay.
find him. So yeah, please thank you so much for your time. It has been an absolute blast talking to you. Finally, hey, in the beginning, hey, you were so serious. I was like, oh, okay, this is now as the conversation kept on going, you started opening up a bit more, and yeah, that's all a lot of the times I just I know that in the beginning obviously the conversation won't flow that much, but in the middle towards the end, most of my guests, if not all of them, it's all smiles, it's all laughter, we're all comfortable because we're just here to talk about football, the game we love, and your guys' careers, and sharing them and sharing some of your guys' insights with the public at large. Because I feel like, okay, the reason why I wanted to do this was not only to talk to you guys, but to also um have these interviews on a public platform where almost anyone or everyone can actually see it. Because when you check American sports, interviews are very important for them. And then when you check with us, interviews aren't a very important part, or interviews that people can watch at any time that they choose. I mean, if you can have an interview on a radio station, but we can't see it whenever we want to see it. I might have missed it. I was busy doing something, but with YouTube, it offers you the chance to be able to watch it anytime. So for me,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. I know that you're busy now, new team, getting accustomed to new things, and most likely now you've moved to Durban. And I wish you so much luck. Good luck on your new endeavors. And please, just think about the coaching badges and that change, that positional change. Even the coach spoke about it. Where do you want to play? I mean, if two people are saying the same thing, it might be a sign.
No, I'll consider it, my brother. I will do consider it.
Yeah, I'm not a football genius like Benny is, but yeah, I do watch a lot of football, and but thank you so much for your time. I really can't. This has been a great conversation. And yeah, guys, this has been Sports Talk with Kifu. And I'm your host, Kifu Njabuloga Mahlangu, and I'm with Tercious Malepe. This has been a beautiful interview. And bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye, bro. Cheers, bro.